Apparently we're live on YouTube. That was not my intention.
It is what it is.
We'll just roll with it here. We're already recording here, so I guess we'll see how this goes on YouTube. Maybe pull it up and see what happens here.
Yeah, why not? Here we go.
Sick, here we go. Let's play this music. All right, welcome back to the Okayest Cook Podcast. I'm Chris Wansetler, your host, coming at you from the office. We are full on summer mode. I'm sitting here with Dean Johnson, just kind of shooting the breeze, but I am recently shaven. I can't do the summer beard. It's just too hot. And it's always, officially spring, officially summer when I lose the beard. So here we are, feeling kind of raw. Feeling kind of vulnerable. Lost my security blanket. But how are you, Dean?
Man, so funny story. Every year I come up with something stupid to do for New Year's resolution, and last year was to grow my beard out for the entire year without shaving.
The whole year, no.
And it just got long, but it also got really poofy, and I am happily cleaned down a little bit.
Yeah. That's the problem with mine. Like, I've got really curly hair, and it grows out, not down.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't
and
do the Gandalf.
My wife has never seen me without a beard, so I'm not shaving it off.
Oh man. See, this is what my wife is used to. So I won't go I won't go baby butt smooth, but yeah, I like a little scruff.
Yeah. Oh, that's good enough.
Yes. Well, guys, coming at you at the time of this recording. Also, we're accidentally live on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube and you're trying to make a comment or something, that was an accident. So apologies. I probably won't see your comments because I'm not smart enough to dual wield at the moment.
Well, we're going to roll with it.
We'll address those comments later on. So I appreciate you being here. But stay tuned. At the time of this recording, we are the only cooking show on the Okayest Hunter Podcast Network. It's not the Okayest Hunter Network. It's the Okayest Podcast Network. Okayest Hunter is kind of the primary show, and we got tons of other really cool shows. I said this before, kind of go to their shows, tune in, listen about how to procure your wild game proteins, and then come here and we'll cook it up, or at least try to. But our goal is to connect with people who know what they are doing. And Dean, I consider you one of those people. He's unsure, but Dean is the Tailgate Foodie. If you couldn't see on his little name tag there, it won't focus on it. But I got some of your stuff in the mail the other day, and it is fire, dude. It's so stinking good. Do you want to give a quick introduction about you and what you guys do over there?
Yeah, so the short of it is we consider ourselves a flavor company because we deal in words of semantics. So instead of just focusing on a barbecue brand, we wanted to kind of bring everything. We wanted to be able to cook in the kitchen. Obviously barbecuing, tailgating is a big thing, camping, and wild game type stuff. So we kind of hit all of the different notes, as you know, because we sent you our venison seasoning. So I started this off as a food blog actually initially. And this is a little bit of a taboo conversation because some people get a little angry. I have zero culinary background. I am just a food nerd. Awesome. I dive into the food science part of things with creating products. So it was just a big passion of mine. I'm actually ex-military, ex-medical field. And that's when I started the food blog, was when I was a nurse still. And then I was making, it's always been the Tailgate Foodie. So it's always been kind of in that mindset. I wanted to monetize my hobbies is what it was.
There you go.
And my hobbies at that time were going to football games and basketball games, etc. And I wanted to be able to write off some of those prices and tickets.
Let's go.
And it worked. But then two of my business partners during peak COVID reached out to me. I went to high school with them. Reached out to me and asked if I actually wanted to go full-time, not full-time yet, but come out with a product, etc. And that was July of 2020, and came out with 5 seasonings. And then from there, September of 2021, I quit medical field. I quit nursing altogether, and I've been doing full-time Tailgate Foodie ever since.
Nice.
So we're up to
quite the transition there.
It is. Everybody's always like, "Oh, your life's less stressful." It's like, no, it's just a different type of stress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Some days I am cooking a brisket, and that's my job for the day.
Yes.
But I am the sole reason behind my entire paycheck. So
it's stressful. Yeah. I mean, it's
stressful. Yeah.
I've been self-employed since 2007 when I graduated college, and yeah, it's
cool.
like, I get it. It's equally freeing and infinitely more stressful at the exact same time. So,
yeah.
No.
Like, I'm kind of taking the day off on Thursday to go golfing with some buddies, but that means that Wednesday and Friday have to be longer days.
Yep. Yep. I get it.
So,
yeah. Well, hey, before we dive too deep into what you guys produce, do you have any notable meals of the week? Have you eaten anything cool lately?
Oh, well, so I was just telling you that on Mondays we have Meeting Monday, so Meating.
Yes.
So we have our Monday meeting, just company-wide. There's 3 of us that go to the meetings. And then we do a TikTok live, and I come up with something super fun and unique that doesn't take very long. And this week was surf and turf quesadillas.
Yeah.
So we did some steak, some shrimp, and in true Wisconsin fashion and also fat guy fashion, there's a lot of cheese in the quesadilla, but there was also griddled cheese on the outside of the quesadilla. So,
oh my gosh, yes.
It was so good.
Double cheese.
Oh yeah. And then
like crispy fried cheese on the outside.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It was perfect. And then actually last night, my wife and I also had surf and turf. I did a little sous vide action on some filet mignon, and then finished it over charcoal grill, crab cakes, asparagus.
Yeah, that's what I just saw on your Instagram. Yeah,
yeah,
dude, the sous vide asparagus. Tell me about that real quick. Like, does it like how long?
I've never done it before.
Okay.
So I actually ruined my own plan. I cut the asparagus too small.
Okay.
So they would have fallen through the grates of the grill because I wanted to do sous vide followed up by charring it.
Yeah.
So I decided to ramp up the sous vide up to 200 degrees for, I think it was like 15 minutes. And all I had our backyard burger blend, some pesto, and Toom, Toom. It's a garlic. It's like a Turkish garlic sauce that is just freaking awesome.
Oh.
So I mixed all of those, and that's what it cooked in the sous vide bath.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
So then homemade hollandaise on the crab cake, asparagus, and then the filet with blue cheese and caramelized onions.
Yes.
Spectacular.
Yes.
If I do say
I think
so
I've
myself,
mentioned on
so.
Yes, I love it. Well, it looked awesome. Yeah, on the Instagram. I'm sure the story will be gone by the time this airs, but pester.
Yes.
Get on the socials. Pester Dean for some pics. Some food
I will
pics.
send the videos.
Yeah, I've mentioned on a previous episode that it is asparagus season, and we are. Yeah. This is our first official year to have it like growing in our garden, and it is
nice.
It is prolific,
and it is
just we're just swimming in asparagus and kind of sick of it already.
Send some my way.
Yes, let's go. That is not my meal of the week, though. I've got like so many meals of the week this week. Like, it's just been a nutty week. Just wrapped up shooting photos at the Peony Festival here in Noblesville, Indiana. And the VIP night just had tons of really cool chefs. And I've got some of those chefs coming on the show later on. So we're going to talk about those meals with the actual chef, but like some really dynamite meals that I'm really excited to talk about. In my kitchen, I did a venison roast just the other day. And honestly, the roast itself wasn't spectacular. You know, it was a local venison with some carrots and potatoes and onions.
Sure.
And that was it. Just super simple, super basic, but it just hit the spot. Like after a long day of shooting, just that rich, hearty food. but I cracked open a bottle of your the mustard. What's your mustard sauce called?
Yes, Low Country Gold.
Low Country Gold, yes. And I'm using this as a segue into the rest of the episode. But dude, just taking some of that roast and those carrots, specifically the carrots, man, just dunking it in that Low Country Gold and just munching on that was the perfect combination. Man, dude, it took it from like really good meal to like a spectacular meal.
I tell people at trade shows and all of the in-person shows that we do, if you're doing any sort of wild game at all, and it doesn't matter if it's a bird, it doesn't matter if it has hooves, that Low Country Gold is perfect.
So good
for any sort of wild game.
Yeah,
because it has the sweetness, it has that mustard, it has a little bit of that vinegar pop. So if you don't particularly care for the gaminess, it just helps tame that down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's so
dude,
good.
it was like the perfect level of mustard, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's a lot higher mustard content than a lot of the other golden barbecue sauces out there, at least that I've had.
Sure.
But it was like I said, spectacular, just like really heavy on the mustard, and then like that tangy vinegar and that rich, savory barbecue sauce following it up. Oh my gosh. Yeah, man, it ticked all the boxes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely love it.
So the best part about that sauce is there is yellow mustard and spicy brown mustard in it.
Let's go.
So that's why there's that like combination, but really amped up mustard sauce. A lot of people will just use one type of mustard. Okay. And usually it's just yellow mustard. And I really like yellow mustard, don't get me wrong, but I don't eat it anymore because I just use Low Country Gold for everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'd say it's that weird combination of barbecue sauce and mustard. Yeah. So if any of you listening have not had like a yellow barbecue, I mean, what's the name for that type of sauce? Just yellow.
I just call it a Carolina mustard sauce.
Okay. Mustard sauce. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's just, it's so good. Yeah. Getting that mustard zip with the barbecue zip. Like just, it's a 2-in-1. Like you don't need any other sauce.
No.
Just throw it on your burger. You're good to go.
Burger brought soft pretzels. It's spectacular on soft pretzels.
Yeah. I can use it.
And so the region is the Low Country, which is southern South Carolina and northern Georgia, is where that sauce is known for. Gotcha. So I actually know somebody that he lives in Beaufort, South Carolina. He buys his sauce from us, but buys his smoked meats from the local places down there because he likes the smoked meats. But he's like, your sauce does things to this meat their sauces don't.
Dude, that's an honor. Yeah. From somebody in the South buying this Wisconsin boys sauce.
Well, so this is another segue into another one of our sauces so we have an Alabama white barbecue sauce, white lightning. A food truck from Alabama just bought 24 bottles for their food truck.
Yes. In Alabama.
Like buying it from a Wisconsin boy.
Yes. Yes. Yep. I tried that one too. And I mean, I need to do more research on the white sauce. I've never been like a big white sauce guy. Like, I don't know, the yellows and just the standard barbecue sauces, they always draw me, more than the white sauce for whatever reason. But I tried that with the venison as well. And it worked.
Yeah. I can see that working. Yeah.
I would choose the gold.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times above the Alabama white sauce.
Yeah.
But I do have some chickens coming from County Corner Farms. And they're just like the most delicious chickens I've ever smoked. And so I'm really pumped to just slather one of those in the white sauce and just see what happens.
So that sauce is funny because you either like it or you don't. Like there isn't much of I could take it or leave it. It's like polar opposites.
Really?
Like this is gross or this is the best thing I've ever had.
That's hilarious. Well, your other sauce. So I've had the 3 so far. Kind of the all-American barbecue sauce. Dude, that stuff was legit as well.
And it's so funny because when we do shows and stuff, people will try Low Country Gold and they'll try White Lightning, but they won't try the All American.
Really?
And the reason is because the other 2 are unique. Everybody thinks that they have something like the All American in their fridge already, so they're like, I'm not going to try it. And I'm like, so you have to try this one because if you like barbecue sauce, I'm going to ruin a lot of barbecue sauces for you. Like, not to be cocky, but the stuff, it's just different. It hits so many of the different notes. It's sweet, it's savory, it's vinegary. You get a nice little heat. Like, it has everything.
I'm here to say, like, he's not full of crap. Right. He's not paying me to say that.
No, I'm not.
But it's legit good barbecue sauce. I mean, I'll be honest, I've got like 6 bottles in my fridge right now. I smoked a pig for my 40th birthday, like
cool
8 months ago.
Sure.
I've still got all this barbecue sauce I'm trying to go through.
Yep.
And like,
and then I get you more.
You get your favorites, and the rest just like go farther and farther back into the fridge. But like, it's not too sweet, but dude, it's like, it's so rich and savory. And then like,
but it doesn't overpower the stuff that you're cooking with.
No, it doesn't. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you've read the story on the side of the bottle.
I'll be honest, I didn't. I just started eating it.
Sure.
I wanted to save all the conversations for you right now.
Yeah, no, perfect. So my brother and I, my brother's not a part of the company, but he hopefully will be at some point. But him and I go back and forth with flavor profiles when I'm creating a new product. But before the food blog even existed, we got into cooking, having some fun on the smoker. We were like, let's just design our own barbecue sauce.
Nice.
And we made some absolute shit, like just dump down the drain, bad flavor profiles, not even usable type stuff. Which great promotion for us, right?
You got to start somewhere.
Exactly. So we wanted it to be an all-encompassing sauce that, hit all of the major barbecue regions. And that was really difficult to do. Mm-hmm. And then we hit this recipe and we were like, holy, we're onto something here.
Nice.
Like, this is good. And once we kind of outgrew our capabilities of making it ourselves, once we became the Tailgate Foodie, we were really worried that we were going to lose some of the nuance in there. And when we switched over into the squeeze bottles, our co-packer talked us into making our own ketchup inside of it rather than using somebody else's.
Yeah.
And we were like, how much is it going to change things? Because the sauce is perfect in our mind. And he talked us into it. I went down for an entire day. We played around with different matching of, tomato paste with different sauce and whatnot and flavors. So the ketchup base that's actually in there is also our own recipe for ketchup.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is even more fun. Same with the Alabama white sauce. The mayo that's in it is actually built from us as well. It's our own recipe.
That rocks.
Yeah. So it's even more like we're very hands-on, even though we don't make it anymore.
Okay. Well, I was about to ask, forgive me for not knowing, but like you don't sell just straight up ketchup?
No.
Okay.
So that is
honestly, you don't need it. I mean, the sauce is all you need. The barbecue sauce is all you need.
Right.
But for those people who don't like the apple cider vinegar or
yep. But we are, the thing about sauces is they're way more expensive to come out with new ones than seasonings are. So actually flavored ketchups is on our brain map, if you will.
Yeah.
We have a whole bunch of stuff, but flavored ketchups is one of them with our base sauce from All American.
Yes. Are you going to go like a nostalgia 90s kid and like do a green ketchup?
Oh, now I want to. Yeah, I should.
Yes, let's do it. Wait, I don't know where you want to take this, but do you want to talk about like just the process of making like a good barbecue sauce? Like I know we talked initially about I guess like how you started and just like for people who like we go to the store, we have a barbecue sauce, we like it, we tolerate it. Yeah. But like how can we tweak that? How can we make that our own? Like how do we just take that base sauce that's just kind of meh and just like really amp it up to the next level?
We'll call it as it is. When you buy Sweet Baby Ray's, how do you ramp it up? And it's so funny because a little bit of a sidebar into this is like we've done a couple ads where we compare ourselves, our product to different varying, and it's not us talking shit because all of those other products, Sweet Baby Ray's, Kraft, all of those have their place. Yeah. There's a reason Sweet Baby Ray's is the #1 barbecue sauce in the United States still. Like, there's a reason people enjoy eating it. They don't know anything beyond that, or they just want the barbecue sauce in as big of a container for as cheap of a price as possible.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
It's not a bad sauce.
No.
It is a little too sweet, in my opinion.
Yes.
But yeah.
Too sweet and too thick for me. So that, and that's a good segue into kind of figuring out what you like.
Yeah.
So let's say you go buy, and there's a lot of competition guys that say Sweet Baby Ray's is actually a really good base to build off their and make their own sauce for competitions.
Nice.
So and like you said earlier, this is kind of one of the ways that I not only started making my own products, but I also just started cooking. Is I would buy a soup and I'd be like, well, I think this soup needs a little bit of spice. So I'd just throw in cayenne or whatever I had on hand.
Yep.
And as I continued to get more and more intrigued by what I was doing, I would get a weirder pepper. I would buy Aleppo pepper and be like, let's see what this tastes like. And then start doing combinations of different peppers. Or, this chicken noodle soup feels like it needs some roasted garlic. So I went and bought some roasted garlic and you throw it in there. And that's the same with sauces as well, is you buy, we'll just continue down the route of Sweet Baby Ray's. You taste it and you're like, it's too sweet. That I totally agree with that. And it's like, well, let's figure out how to tone down that sweetness while continuing to have flavor. Or let's add some heat on the back end by using Chipotle. I don't like the texture of it because personally, I think it's a little too thick as well. And it's like, how do I thin that out without dumbing down the flavors? Because if you add water, that's just going to make it taste like crap.
Yeah.
It's going to be watery barbecue sauce, which just sounds gross. So, you add a little bit of apple cider vinegar. You add, honestly, you could add a ketchup. Or one of my favorite things to do is Chipotle's like up here for me in flavors.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite flavors of all time. So that chili and adobo, taking some of that sauce and putting it in barbecue sauces. Yeah. Just
that, that level of spice, would really amp a Sweet Baby Ray's.
Yes.
If you don't have Tailgate Foodie in your local store.
And I was going to say, and hint,
if you don't have a mailbox to have them mail it to you.
the Chipotle at the end is, or at the heat at the end of All American is Chipotle. So
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking when I was tasting the All American that it could be just a little bit spicier. So if you do a spicy version, add some habaneros.
Yep. I get that a lot as well. And the reason I didn't go spicier is it's
not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. And we needed that one sauce right now to introduce ourselves to everybody.
Yeah.
So it has a little bit of heat, and when you cook with it, what you'll realize is that the sugars that are in it will caramelize and take some of that heat away. So it's actually becomes less spicy when you cook with it. And then when you want that spice back, you just add the raw barbecue sauce back.
Yeah. Dude, I can't wait to do a meatloaf with this stuff. Like that is going to be dynamite.
Yeah. That's going to be incredible.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Ribs, pork butt, burnt ends.
Oh my gosh. The burnt ends. Yes. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm ready for it all.
I have this weird thing. I love hot sauces. I'm a spice head myself. So I take my my barbecue sauces and I'll mix them with different hot sauces. And what I found is Low Country Gold with regular Franks, like a 50-50 mix. The All-American with Buffalo is incredible.
Okay.
And then if you like Mexican hot sauces, Valentina with White Lightning is such a good combination of flavors.
Dude, I love that.
So it's like all of our sauces are a good base of stuff too. On top of the fact, if you mix all three of them at once, so you do 3 parts White Lightning, 2 parts Low Country Gold, and 1 part All-American, and a little bit of pickle relish, it's a burger sauce.
Dude,
like you have your mayo, you have your mustard, and you have your ketchup. It's perfection. It's so good.
Dude, that sounds so cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to making hot sauce, because I had a question there that I kind of neglected to ask. When you're adding ingredients, are you just adding it cold, stirring it up, tasting it, or like do you let it sit in the fridge for a week, or are you actually cooking to kind of meld those together a little bit more?
So
What's your
definitely
process
cooking.
there? Okay.
Definitely cooking. So we have this funny thing that we decided to put a name onto it, is my process for making a product. And this goes seasonings, this goes sauces. And at the same rate, and you said that you were okay with like controversial things.
Oh yeah.
So it's a little bit of
Bring it on.
it's a little bit of making fun of all of the marketing terms that used to actually mean something. People do have food allergies. I understand that. I come from a medical background, but I think as a consumer, people are putting too much on the manufacturer for me to make the flavor exactly for every little thing.
Yeah.
So it needs to be gluten-free. It needs to be kosher. It needs to be all of these different things, when the end product is a completely neglected thing just so I can get a little button that says non-GMO or whatever free it is. So instead of having any of that on there, and we're very transparent about the ingredients that we use, we will tell you why we use them. For F's sake, I won't say the F word. I will basically straight up give you the recipe for my product, because I know that you're not going to take it and make your own company. I will full blown tell you everything that's in it. So now I'll get off my high horse. And so we call that the Certified Flavor Project.
Yeah.
Making sure that all of our products meet the standards that I have in my own head of flavor versus getting the next button that is the new marketing term.
Yeah.
And where that comes in is the All-American has corn syrup in it. It's one of the last ingredients. It's not high fructose corn syrup, which is, there's a big difference between the two. And the reason why we left corn syrup in there is texture purposes. Okay. So when we spin it and heat it up and bottle it, when we took the corn syrup out, the texture was awful. Like it was almost chunky.
Oh, really?
So yeah, like it was not a good final product, and people wouldn't have liked it. So by leaving this very minute amount, but enough that we have to put it on our label, it creates this beautiful silky texture that the All-American is now, like, you've had it, it's
good. It's good texture. Yeah, I confirm.
It's in between a classic barbecue sauce and a glaze. It's just a good texture.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, we just literally today we had some Chick-fil-A, and I was just like, I take your fry and you squeeze it onto the fry, and like it's thin enough that it smears on there real well, but not so thin that it's going to drip and spill everywhere. And
right.
So good.
So like I said, the Certified Flavor Project is me just going through, and obviously sauces and seasonings are different in a sense. Sauces you have to heat up to make sure that everything is going, like the flavors don't get too amplified.
Okay.
But then after I make it there, I use it in the kitchen first, and see if I need to change anything. And then I grill with it, and then I smoke with it.
Nice.
So each of our products goes through the kitchen, it goes through a grill, and it goes through a smoker. And based on what I see needs changing, usually it's sugar content and salt content is what needs the changing afterwards. Just because certain things can get more concentrated. I don't need a super sweet something. As you continue to have our products, you'll realize that they're all very balanced.
Definitely.
None of them are extremely one thing or the other. Even our spicy things have some sweetness to offset it. So the most I've ever gone through is my favorite seasoning is Kickin' Chicken, which is our Nashville hot seasoning. And that went through 12 iterations on my side. Just playing around with heat concentrations and sweet concentrations. And then when we had to move to having a co-packer make it, it went through 7 more iterations to make it taste like it did before. So a lot of back and forth goes into all of this.
Seriously,
but it's part of the fun.
It's all the R&D that people don't see or don't think about. Yeah. When it comes to, beautiful sauces like this. So
they think that you can just throw stuff into a bottle and call it good. And it's like, sauces are not the easiest to make.
Well, no. I mean, like you said, like it takes time. And like, if you blend it up this way, and it might be good, on the grill, it might be terrible on the smoker.
Yeah.
It might be good here and not there. Like I said, too much salt. Like when things are hot, they taste different when they're cold. So you got to try all the different things. So
yeah, and sometimes it's great, and sometimes you get sick of your own product.
yeah. Well, is there a length of time? Like, let's say you mix up a batch today, kind of like when you're making chili or when you're outside smoking something. Like,
sure,
it just doesn't taste as good the same day, but the next day you're just like, holy crap, this is good. Like, do you have to give yourself like a couple days
100%.
window?
Yeah, I don't have a timeline in my head that I've really ever paid attention to, but you need to at least go through the act of cooking it and heating it with the sauces specifically, and then cooling it in the fridge. Like at least that amount of time for the flavors to all meld through.
Yeah.
Like you said, chili's the perfect thing about that.
Oh yeah.
Day old chili is way better than day of chili every day.
Yep.
So yes, there is that. I've never really paid attention, but even with seasonings, and it's surprising to people sometimes that you have to let those meld a little bit too.
Oh really?
Even though it isn't all in, a homogeneous group, like a sauce is, they still taste differently because shaking it and all that stuff will get the particles. And we use a lot of powders versus bigger granules, just so you get an even product throughout the entire bottle. And I'm looking at our seafood seasoning, and initially it comes across very herby. There's celery and different types of herbs and stuff in there. Not that celery's an herb, but that all gets toned down a lot by the other products that are in there once it sits for about a day.
I gotcha.
So before I even cook with it needs to sit for about a day usually.
Yeah, I've never thought. I mean, it makes sense with liquidy things, but I've never thought about spice mixes, needing to mature and combine as well. Like, there's some science behind that. You mentioned food science. Like, I'm real curious about that.
Yeah.
I'm actually talking to a food scientist right now about a couple episodes. So
super cool,
super fun about that. But yeah, that'll be a big question. Yeah, for the food scientist, like why do herbs need time to meld?
Or is the Tailgate Foodie on drugs and he doesn't actually know what he's talking about?
Yes. Well, I think it's 100%. It's the melding of the foods, but like it's also just like your own immediate food memories. Like you've been smelling this stuff all day. You get nose blind to it.
Exactly.
So as soon as you get used to all these scents and flavors, it's numbing your senses to like what you're actually making. So just separating yourself from that environment and coming back the next day, like you can get a real true sense of what this actually became.
And it's funny because when I come up with a new product, I'm really aggressive with the way that I fluctuate flavors. Like it isn't, especially initially, like it isn't, oh, this needs a half a gram of this or half a gram of that. It's like I take each product to the extreme of the level of saltiness that I want, of the heat, etc. And then I work it way down and then try to kind of figure out which side of the equilibrium I want,
Nice.
And I do that a lot. I haven't made a new sauce in quite a while, to be honest. We've had these 3 sauces for a couple years now.
Okay.
And they're just hitters. So
Good.
I'm playing around with some stuff in the background, but it isn't quite as much as me playing around with new seasonings right now.
Sure. I'm looking forward to the ketchups. I think that's going to be bomb. Yeah. It's like finding a good solid ketchup it's kind of tricky. I mean, Heinz, it's great, but like going to some restaurants that do their own ketchup, like it's just so much better. Just the fresh stuff, way less preservatives.
Or it's so much worse.
I've been there once or twice.
I was going to say some of those ketchups that people make, I'm like, oh man, go get some Heinz, call it good. Go back to what you were doing before.
Yes. Well, I'll say what goes into some sauces. I mean, can we go that direction a little bit? Like if you're the other day, like before I smoked my hog, this is like a year ago.
Yeah.
I didn't have any barbecue sauce and I'm like, well, crap, I need to make some barbecue sauce right now. So I just tried to throw a bunch of stuff in a skillet, and it didn't work. I forgot something. And honestly, it's probably the ketchup base. Like I just didn't even think about that, to be honest.
Yeah, so kind of what I always think of when I am creating a sauce, and you've had all three of ours, there is a certain sweetness, especially when it comes to barbecue sauce. Like, it's hard to find a good barbecue sauce that doesn't actually have sugar in it, in my opinion. There's a couple out there that are solid. G. Hughes does a solid job, in my opinion. It's not as funky as the other ones.
Okay.
There is a subtle sweetness that comes up front, but they need sugar. And in my opinion, it needs brown sugar specifically. Yeah. Because you get some of that more molassesy flavor. And that's one thing going with the sauces and seasonings is anytime I can amplify a flavor instead of just using white sugar or regular salt, I try to use an amplified version of that. So none of our products have white sugar, and it isn't a health reason. It's because white sugar is just sweet to be sweet. There isn't a flavor that comes along with sugar, in my opinion. So I either use brown sugar or I use honey powder as my sweetener. And I don't even use a lot of sweeteners in our seasonings. But if I'm I don't use a lot of white vinegar. I use apple cider vinegar because you get a little bit of that sweetness and apple flavor in there. So going back to especially a base level barbecue sauce, what I would always think of is where are you getting your sweetness from? Is it going to be that sugar from the ketchup, or is it going to be some brown sugar? Is it going to be some honey that you add? And then because I'm using a sweeter thing up front, I also want a little bit of heat in the back, just so that way the sweetness doesn't get overwhelmed. Yeah. And then me personally, I want some savory notes in there too. And generally speaking, I'll lean towards the Wash Your Sister sauce, just for a little bit of savory notes in there. Not a whole lot because you don't want it overpowered. And or molasses. Molasses obviously has that subtle sweetness, but the savory pops of molasses are just incredible to me. It just gives such a deep, rich flavor profile. And then honestly, you just kind of figure out, obviously you're going to want more of that ketchup base when you're talking about a classic barbecue sauce. But you can play around with all of the other notes, the vinegars and whatnot, to thin it out if you want, or to make more of a mop sauce. There are times that I will use All American and just load it up with more apple cider vinegar because I want a mop sauce, but I still want that more barbecue-y flavor within that mop sauce. Yeah. So I play around a lot, even with our own sauce, to use it for other parts of what I'm cooking. Yeah. Injections, things like that.
Nice. Yeah. Like, I love the fact that you're just being so open and honest, saying like, hey, use it as a base, but tweak it, make it your own. I think that's super 100%. Cool.
I love our sauce, but everybody's profiles are different. And if you buy it and you want a little bit more heat, I have suggestions on what peppers to use because I know what the recipe behind it is. I really like your idea with the habaneros. That could be real good. I love habaneros, so.
I got a bunch of ground dried habanero in my cabinet right now, so I might whip some of that up here in the next couple of days and see what happens.
We used to make when we were making seasonings in house, we had a ghost pepper seasoning, and then we had some habanero.
See, habanero is my limit. I try not to go too much higher than that.
So funny story about the ghost pepper is, in my opinion, ghost pepper powder felt less spicy than habanero powder.
Really?
It just hit me different. The habanero powder that we use is right around 300 Scoville units, 300,000.
I was going to say.
Yeah, not 300.
We're talking bell peppers there.
Yeah, it's a bell pepper. It's a spicy bell pepper. 300,000. And then the ghost pepper that we were using was 1,000,000. And to my taste buds, habanero just kicked my ass. I don't know what it was. Yeah.
The ghost just like singed it then. It just like,
it was just,
it just ruined it.
Yeah, just ruined it. It was 3rd degree burns.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh my gosh. Well, let's chat about the Carolina Gold. Is that the American base with mustard?
Nope.
Something totally different then?
So that was one of the things that we talked about when coming out with the 3 sauces that we did, is when new companies come out with new sauces or pretty much anything, what they like to do, and it's the business financially smart thing to do, is to use the same base of flavor and then build off of it. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to come out with 3 vastly different flavor profiles that anybody can try and just have a unique experience per sauce.
Nice.
Because when a lot of other companies, like I said, there's a couple local ones that I can think of, not throwing them under the bus because, again, it's financially smart. I'm just an idiot. You can tell that there's a lot of similar flavors and that they just changed a couple on the back end, basically.
I can see that.
Where ours, it's the Low Country Gold is straight up mustard base barbecue sauce, lots of apple cider vinegar, to the point where our co-packer was like, "Are you sure that you have the measurements right?" And I was like, "Yep, 100%." And then we throw in a little bit of a touch of cayenne in there, just for a nice flavor. My issue with a lot of mustard sauces that I've had in the past, before coming out with ours, was they kind of land a little flat at the end.
Okay.
Like they just kind of fizzle out. It's really good up front, and then it just gets bland. And one thing that I've learned, going back to the food science thing a little bit, is there's a few different things that you can utilize to make things not bland. The major one is salt, for obvious reasons. Number 2 is heat. And number 3 is vinegars. So you'll see in some of our seasonings that the salt content is low, but I purposely keep an eye on salt content. But some of the less salty ones have vinegar powders or some cayenne or some heat, so it won't land bland while still being on the lower side of salt.
Yeah.
But yeah, Low Country Gold was the only product that I've ever come out with, and this is, I say I came out with it. It's 75% my brother's recipe. It's the first recipe that we ever created. It's never changed.
Nice.
We came up with it before Tailgate Foodie existed. We did a food competition here in Wisconsin. We did smoked pork tenderloin, and basted it, and then also gave people an extra cup to pour it on in raw form.
Yeah.
And we had a couple people that just so happened to be from South Carolina, and they were like, "You need to bottle this. This is better than stuff down there. Like, please come out with this now."
That is awesome.
And it hasn't changed since 2017. So a year before Tailgate Foodie even existed.
Dude, that says a lot. Yeah, that it hasn't changed in that many years, right. And even switching companies and
right.
Like the manufacturing side, right.
Yeah. And like we were talking about earlier, and with your connection with, Okayest Hunter and Wild Game. Yeah. Like, the stuff is spectacular on anything wild game.
Yeah.
It's just good.
Mm-hmm. Concur. Yep. I mean, I haven't tried it on pheasant, but yeah, in my head, it works.
It just makes sense.
Yep.
And we have
I could see duck working really well. Yep.
So, cool thing that we do, QR code on the side of our products takes you to a cookbook for that product.
Let's go.
And they're all my own recipes. And we have a game bird seasoning called Dirty Bird. The name will be changing, but same product.
Name's changing, the sauce isn't. Or the rubs.
Yes, exactly. So there's a little bit of heat to it, which is fun. But again, it's so hard to talk to people that hunt and things like that really know the flavors of the game that they're cooking. Mm-hmm. So when I tell people that it's really good on duck, it's really good on goose, it's really good on pheasant, it's really good on wild turkey, people are like,
"Are you sure?
Can it be though?" And I'm like, "Yep."
Have you had all these things?
And I'm like, "Yeah, I have."
Yes.
One of my favorite recipes for Dirty Bird is jalapeno duck poppers. And you dunk them in Low Country Gold.
Yes.
And it's so good.
Yeah. I mean, that again, that says a lot, like, because all those animals you just listed, goose, turkey, duck, like they're all birds, yes, but they're so very different.
Yep.
Just, in texture and flavor profiles and just how you cook them. So it's interesting, to find one sauce that works.
Yep.
Across the board.
Just across the board. Just works.
Yeah. And something that pairs with it as well. Like it's a strong mustard flavor, but used in moderation. Like you're not going to swamp the duck. Like it's not going to completely overpower it and just annihilate that duck that you've worked so hard to get.
Right. And that's one thing that we always talked about too, is people bitch and complain about sauces. Oh, it covers up bad cooking. It's like, no, if you utilize
sometimes it can, yes.
So yes, you can use sauce to cover up bad cooking, but you can also use it to add a different flavor profile and create a whole different experience than you would have without a sauce. I do agree, because that if I ruin a brisket, that's the first thing I'm grabbing is my sauce.
Yes.
But all of our sauces don't overpower. They are strong and standing on their own, but they don't overpower the people that really want to taste the meat and the wild game that they're cooking, or the brisket. I'm not a huge sauce on brisket guy, but sometimes I want to throw a little bit of All-American for that little spice.
Yeah. We're not here to judge anyone. Like, occasionally I'm going to throw some A1 on my steak. Like, sometimes you just crave it. Come on.
Do you know when A1 sauce was created?
I don't.
Middle of the Civil War. Of the Civil War, someone was like, we need a good steak sauce. It's time.
Ignore what's going on. Yeah. Make a good steak sauce.
I don't need to pay attention to that stuff. I need steak sauce.
Yes. Well, yeah, like I said, use it in moderation. Yeah, put it in a little ramekin. Don't just smother your stuff and just go balls to the walls straight off the bat. Try a little dip here and there. But yeah, 100%. He's not lying. Like the sauce is great. I'm trying to think of like, what are my standard sauces? Like when I go to the big box store, what am I looking for? Stubbs is a big one. Like both my wife and I really love Stubbs, specifically the spicy Stubbs.
Yeah.
It's hot enough for me, but it's not too hot. Like my wife still loves it. So spicy Stubbs is always in our pantry. Honestly, Meat Eater has a really good, smoky barbecue sauce. I can't remember what it's called.
I knew they had seasonings. I didn't realize that they came out with a sauce.
The smoke that comes out of that barbecue sauce is the perfect amount of smoke.
Yeah.
And then there's a new one. I can picture the bottle in my head, but I cannot think of the name. I bought it when I did the hog. I was just like, hey, here's a new sauce. I haven't tried this one yet. Let's try it out. It's like it's a mostly white label, like really simple designs, probably just the name of the company.
Is it Kinders of some sort?
I do love Kinders. Kinders. It is not Kinders though.
Okay. Cause I mean, even though I own my own company, like I'm a sucker for sauces and seasonings. So I
gotta scope out the competition.
Sure, that's what we'll call it. Not me being fat. But Kinders actually just
all
came
that
out
to
with
say, like,
yeah.
What are you saying?
The new Kinders sauce. It's called Kinders Reserve.
Okay. I haven't tried that one
buy
yet.
the All-American first. Like, do that.
Yes.
But also, Kinders Reserve is really good.
Yes. Well, I was going to wrap it up with like all those sauces. Like, I'm 100% positive the All-American like earned its spot in my pantry, in my fridge. It is. It'll go head to head with any of those sauces all day, every day. It's like you said, it's way more balanced than a lot of those sauces. It's just that perfect amount of sweet, savory, spicy. It's ticking all the boxes.
Yep.
So if I run out of that stuff, it's going to be a sad day. So
can
we buy it here in Indiana, or do we need to just order off the website?
We ship everywhere. You cannot buy it in Indiana yet. There is we're trying to get into distribution.
It's tricky.
It's not the easiest thing to do. But we sell on our website. We're on the big Amazon.
Okay.
We sell all of our stuff there. So But real quick about the All-American, I have two claims to fame, while also dissing myself at the same time. So we do Open Season, the trade show up here in the Dells. Okay. It's all hunting and stuff related. And that's where I actually ran into Okayest Hunter, and I believe, I don't know if you actually know Buck from the photography, or he's the one that sent
Keegan.
you a message. Yeah, Keegan.
Yeah, Keegan. Uh-huh.
Yep. Yeah, he's awesome. He's
Love
so cool.
Keegan. Yo.
But they were up there, and this guy came by, and he was kind of just meandering around doing his thing, and a woman came up and was like, "Oh, it's barbecue guy. You should try all this stuff." And the guy was like kind of embarrassed, like, "I don't need you to tell people who I am." So it turns out he was a comp guy for 25 to 30 years. Him and his team got 5th at the Jack a few years ago. Like, kind of a heavy hitter. I'd never heard of him or anything like that.
Nice.
But he was showing me pictures, and I was like, I need you to try the All-American. You don't need to try any of the other sauces. I want you to try the All-American and tell me what you think of it from a competition standpoint. Or in general, whatever. So he tries it, he eats it, and he's like, kind of what you said. He's like, this is now going to be in my repertoire of sauces. Like, this is absolutely spectacular. And I was like, okay. And what about the competition side? He was like, oh, do horrible. And I was like, oh, no. I was like, oh no, why? He's like, it's not sweet enough.
Really?
Yep. So there's too much spice on the end, even though you and I both would agree that if it was just for me, more spice. But a lot of the KCBS style is super heavy on the sweet.
And is that just, that's what judges have come to expect? And
yep.
That's just what they think.
Yep.
Good barbecue sauce should taste like.
Yeah.
Well, yep. That's sad.
So we don't expect to win many awards when it comes to official cooking competition style. You know, different sauce companies or different events would be a different story, but a lot of those are bought and paid for as it is anyway. But
is that a lucrative market to get into, like from a sauce standpoint? Like, do you want to be like the sauce of whatever competition? Like, is that would that be a good goal for you guys, or like quote unquote industry, like speaking?
Right. Honestly, with the way that we're positioning ourselves, it'd be cool. Don't get me wrong. I think it'd be a really neat thing. I don't think that it would be an accolade that we're going to aim for, because we play around in the barbecue world, but we also play around in the grilling world that has nothing to do with competition barbecue. We want everyday Joe Schmo to be able to snag our stuff and cook with it outside of the tailgate or outside tailgating. So with us being a little bit more all-encompassing, I don't think it's necessarily a goal of ours to be the #1 KCBS sponsor or anything like that. You know, if we ever get to the point where we have FU money, maybe we'll be the face of something.
There. Yes. Well, like you said, I think, like, yes, being like the sponsor of whatever competition would be super cool.
Yeah.
I think like you hit the nail on the head. I would just stick with just being like pantry staple for like the average dude. Like, it's crushing it. Absolutely love it.
So we have, you know, in the business world, you have your avatar that you're trying to market to, etc. Ours is named Average Joe.
Yes.
So it fits pretty well.
It works, and sauce works. So yeah. I'd say don't change that recipe. Keep it going.
Oh yeah.
I'll buy a few more bottles just so I don't run out.
Perfect.
Absolutely love it. Well, dude, we are coming up on our time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't prep you on this, but we like to end each episode with a recipe.
Ooh, fun.
And to be honest, we've already talked about a ton of like really cool recipes. Do you have anything like off the top of your head that you're thinking? Like, what are you doing? Like, you got one. I was going to prep you with something here, but let's hear what you're thinking.
All right. So before we were a company, when I was still a food blog, Again, I love spicy. I love pickles. So I had come up with a recipe called Nashville hot chicken sloppy joes with dill pickle coleslaw.
Okay.
Yeah. And after we became a company and now have a Nashville hot seasoning, on top of the fact that our White Lightning barbecue sauce is a great base for coleslaw mix. It's just zippy enough. It's thick enough.
Yes.
If you do want it thicker, you throw in a little bit more mayo. But I do. So this is such an easy recipe that I have it all right here, and I can just rip it off so it takes 20 minutes to make. You do a pound of either ground chicken or ground turkey. You could use pork probably. I've never tried it because the other ones are better. 1 tablespoon of butter just to get that cooking. 3 tablespoons of Nashville hot seasoning with 1 bottle of chili sauce that's right next to the ketchup. It's almost like cocktail sauce, but it's in between ketchup and cocktail sauce.
Sure.
So once the turkey is or chicken is cooked, you add all of those things and mix it up and let it simmer for 10 minutes. While all of that's going on, you do a 14-ounce bag of coleslaw mix, 7 ounces of dill pickle relish, or you can use, I've played around with the Grillo pickles because they're spectacular. And then about a half a cup of the Alabama white sauce, and you mix that up and let it sit in the fridge, and then put it on a bun. Or you could scoop the hot chicken mix with Tostitos. Like it's my wife's favorite recipe, and you saw what I made yesterday. Like, I can make some killer high-end food. Hot chicken sloppy joes every time. That's the go-to.
Dude, well, I love that you just like amped a sloppy joe. Like, a sloppy joe is a sloppy joe, but like, let's do some sloppy joes.
Let's do. So we one of our first events ever. It was peak COVID. It was during the bubble for the NBA. We got the okay through a brewery to make food in their kitchen. Nice. They didn't use their kitchen anymore. They absolutely loved us. We wanted to push our seasonings, a new business, all this stuff. So we did those Nashville hot chicken sloppy joes, and then we also did pulled pork sandwiches, and we sold 2-to-1 Nashville hot chicken sloppy joes.
Really?
Oh, it was wild,
dude. That says a lot.
Yeah, they're incredible.
That's awesome.
And they take 20 minutes. It's the easiest thing ever.
Super cool.
Yeah,
I'm 100% trying that sloppy joe. Like, dude, I'm not like a pickled nut, but I like a good pickle now. And honestly, I mentioned the Peony Festival earlier.
Yeah.
Field Brew House or Field Brewing, that's a brewery here in Westfield, Indiana, just made a dill pickle sour ale. And it's a little bit more cucumber forward, but like finishes dill pickle. Huh. It's like you need to have a hamburger in hand when you're drinking the beer in the other hand. It's such a good beer, but dude, that dill, vinegar, like that combination just works really well.
I'm making a wild recipe tomorrow for social media. So
yes,
I'm making.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. Come check it out. No, it's a dill pickle salsa. Ooh. I've seen it on social media, and I got to give it a try myself. So I'm going to whip it up.
Well, I'll try and buy some of these cans, and when I make it up to Wisconsin next, I'll try and connect with you and get you some.
We're in Madison, so it's not too far from anything.
Let's go. Awesome. Wait, dude, I'm pumped. Like the slaw. Yeah. Slaw's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be game changing cool. Trying some of that. Just the white sauce, I think is gonna be awesome because I'm struggling to find like a dynamite slaw recipe. Yeah, and I'm on the fence. Like, I don't know which I prefer, like the vinegar base or the mayo based. Sure. But I can see your Alabama sauce working.
I was going to say the
really well.
White Lightning is about half and half mayo and vinegar. So,
yes. Dude, if you can't decide one fence or the other, just let's straddle them.
Yep.
Dude, you give me so many ideas, but just a good slaw on top of a pulled pork sandwich.
Yep. Oh. So if I'm doing pulled pork, what I'll do, because I like the All-American on pulled pork, And then we have a specific seasoning, KC combo, Kansas City style. So that's what I do on pulled pork. But if I'm making a slaw, I do a mix of the White Lightning and Low Country Gold because I want a little bit of that mustard flavor in that slaw as well.
Love it.
I don't know how I'm not 700 pounds when I talk about food literally every day.
Because you got to make it.
Yep.
You got to make all these sauces and then use them.
Yep.
Yes. Well, I don't want to spoil it too much, but I believe we have an episode coming out with Gomez Barbecue.
Cool.
At some point in the future. I don't know when, but their slaw is like, I think it's forever going to be spot number one.
Yeah.
They did a horseradish slaw that just knocked my socks off in all the right ways. Dude, it was so stinking good. But I'm going to try your white sauce slaw.
So what you can do, because there's a touch of horseradish in there already, so just put in a little bit more prepared horseradish.
There you go.
Try it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Straddle the fences. Here we go.
Yep. Always.
Yes. Well, Dean, thank you so much for jumping on. Any final thoughts? Socials, the Tailgate Foodie website, the Tailgate Foodie. We'll link everything below. And 100% listeners, watchers, if you just buy the sauce. If you don't like it, I literally will buy it off of you. No, just mail it to me.
Yeah, just mail it to him. It's perfect.
You will like it. It's a guarantee. Like, it's a dynamite sauce. And I'm not saying that just because Dean's sitting right here. It's a freaking good sauce. And you will want it in your pantry 24/7.
And the cool thing, we're a small business. What you see is what you get. I am the face of it. I'm also the guy behind the social media. So if you have any questions about any of our products, shoot us a message through email, through any of the socials, DM me directly. I'm going to be the one answering it.
Let's go.
And I created it, so I have all the answers. But yeah, we're on all of the socials. We do Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, our big four. We pretty much put everything on all of those. But we do go live on TikTok 3 days a week, do a lot of giveaways there. I don't know when this episode's actually coming out, but we are doing our 12 days of grilling for the kind of leading up to summertime. Everything in the store on the website's 20% off right now. On top of the fact, if you spend $60, you get free shipping no matter where you're at. So we have a lot of really cool deals going on, bundles that we've created and curated for you to start. We sell on our website, we sell on TikTok, we sell on Amazon, kind of all encompassing. We're just we're not in nationwide stores. But if you do know anybody that owns a butcher shop, anybody that owns a boutique store, we do wholesale. So we are in 50 plus stores throughout the U.S. In varying degrees of boutique food trucks that use our product but also sell it. Then things like that. So
so listeners, you got homework. Go to your butcher, buy some quality meat.
Yep.
And drop a plug for some dynamite barbecue sauce.
Yep. And we'll give you a percentage of that first order too. That's the fun thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, have some conversations. Yes. And again, if you don't place an order like tomorrow, you screwed up.
You're wrong. Yeah.
Dean, thank you so much. Really enjoy it.
Man.
We've got so much more to talk about. It's super sauce heavy today. Like, we need to talk about your spices, all the rubs and stuff. So part 2 inbound. We'll talk about that later on. So appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.